For those who are new around here, this is the weekly rundown where we feature what's going on in the World Wide Web across Dailey Blend and, of course, special projects that I am involved with. You know, we've got a huge show today. We're going to be talking about the golf project. We've got what's going on in and around Dailey Blend. We've got special things coming up with Sound Off and Rachel J, music, travel, and much more. But before we jump in the show, I want to remind you we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also check out the show on YouTube, both in terms of YouTube, the main channel, as well as their podcast feature. If you're social, and we are, check us out at Dailey Blend on X and IG. And with all that said, let's jump into the show. So, you know, in the summertime, it's sort of what I'll call hot and cold. A lot of people go away, personal time to reflect. And, there's a couple, hit or miss trips for me. And so the last, 10 days just been a lot of travel for me. Headed out to San Francisco last week. And, I typically stay at the proper hotel. And I love the vibe of it. It's modern. It's got sort of, what's the vibe? Like, I'll call it a Don Draper. So mid-century modern was the word I was looking for. Vibe, and it's got a great rooftop bar, so it's just really easy to talk people to come to you. It's like a destination place in terms of meeting. The only challenge is if people don't want to come to you, it is not in the financial district. It's over in the Tenderloin, and if you've been to San Francisco recently, you'll know, or I shouldn't say recently, but if you've ever been to San Francisco, you know the Tenderloin is a little bit ripe in terms of smell and traffic, if you will. And, I caught a couple of times where I was just like, I don't want to be walking in and out of this hotel at night. Like, there's just too much action going on. And so I took the opportunity to stay down in the financial district because I wanted to check out the J Hotel, which is an autograph property. I wanted to see what it was like to be closer to the water with the logic that I was going to have time to run. And I wanted to just be closer to meetings. And so, I got to say the good and the bad. So I missed the proper hotel. I think the gym is decent. The rooftop is fantastic. The rooms are pretty good. But I stayed at the J Hotel, which was not Le Maladian. It was an older property. I can't remember the name of the brand, but it doesn't matter. The J is something between a modern hotel with some contemporary influences. I even felt like there was some like Asian and Norwegian influences into the hotel. Big W's for me was outdoor space for meetings, which was easy and useful. They had a full restaurant and bar that was pretty good. The cocktails looked good, didn't have any, but they looked pretty good. The food menu was fine, but the room was great. In terms of the hotel rooms themselves, they were fantastic. Huge desk, good coffee setup, and most importantly for me of a hotel is a fantastic gym. And, I thought the proper hotel had a decent gym, a little tight, a little small, but had all the fixings, if you will. And this hotel just knocked it out of the park. Well done, Jay Hotel. Well done. And just huge gym, which I'm always a big fan of, all the latest and greatest equipment. So I didn't get a run in. I was able to get a fantastic workout in. A couple kind of highlights from the trip. Was able to walk around a little bit and didn't have a ton of time outside of meetings and coffees, but I got to go to the Choto Mat, which I'll link into the show notes. And anytime that there is house music and cocktails, I am a happy man. And this hit those highlights for me. So I set up at the bar for my meeting, so I didn't really get to explore the restaurant that much, but, turned around, there's a DJ booth, bunch of restaurant, sort of tables for eating and dining. And I will 100% be going back to that. In terms of, speaking of going back, I'm likely heading back to San Francisco. It hasn't been confirmed yet for the ACG Silicon Valley event on October 1st and 2nd. If you're listening to this and you've ever attended that event, let me know what it's like. I've never been, and I'm kind of curious. Is it for startups? Is it for service providers? A bit of both? What sort of tier? Is it providing those sort of details? So if you've ever been, or you're part of the ACG Silicon Valley, just let me know. I'm kind of interested in possibly attending. Moving from the West Coast, I'm recording this Tuesday morning, and I'll be heading out to Boston. We've got a private dinner with the good friends over at Progress Partners. This is for my day job, if you will. And looking forward to the dinner. We're going to have a topic on AI and its influence on media, and looking forward to that conversation. If you follow my social media at Reed Dailey, or you interact with me in Boston as a market, I am pretty routine in terms of where I stay, where I go. I wouldn't say it's like prescriptive, but it's pretty general. And I'm loving the Langham for breakfast. They've got this overnight oats, and the fact that I'm talking about it on the podcast is telling of just how darn good it is. So if you've always liked fancy rooms, this room I think was an old, bank, and I was trying to think of what it was. And the overnight oats are fantastic. I will be there bright and early at 6:30 for breakfast on Wednesday morning. So just look for a guy who needs a lot of coffee and is a little tired from an early morning run. And also, I'm taking out some folks over at the Real House, and I went there, earlier in the summer, and it's a, pizza, with a brick oven pizza type restaurant right on the water. So if I was smart, I'd learn how to use the water taxi and go from there over to the airport. I'm not that good with Boston travel, but I'm pretty good. Anyway, looking forward to that. I got some meetings bumping around the city. So if you are in Boston, don't forget to hit me up on LinkedIn or on X at Reed Dailey on both, and let's connect. With all this travel, I've been listening to a ton of house music sets, and I find that when I'm on an airplane, I listen to sort of two go-tos. I've got house music and Drake. I listen to Drake to go to sleep. Views is like my, perfect. The plane's about to take off. I put on Views, and before the second song can even get rolling, I'm already knocked out. But a couple DJ sets that I'm going to link to in the show notes that I've just been hammering lately are Diplo Live at Space. This mix came out about a year ago. It really showcased to me like where Diplo's going from a music perspective, and it jumps from house to sort of some of his remixes he's done or bootlegs. I actually don't know if he did them or others that are just some of the bigger hits, and then some of his music that's been a little more tailored for space that he's made with his Thomas Wesley project, Diplo, or Matt Decent with his Major Lazer project. In terms of other mixes that I want you guys all to check out, Fred again has been touring nonstop, but he does these like random little pops. During COVID, he was doing them live from his, I assume it was his apartment, but this one was from Arun's rooftop. I assume Arun is just his buddy. It looks like London, but it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour mix. I listened to it on YouTube, on SoundCloud. It's fantastic. It's all his songs. He's playing with one CDJ and a mixer, and I'm kind of just from a technical standpoint trying to figure out how he does that. I think it's something to do with the effects, but you probably don't care about that. Just know that the mix is great. It's got a lot of his songs, and he kind of does a little bit of remixing with it, but it's just a good set. Rufus Del Sol did a DJ set. I have not listened to it that much, but I've listened to it now twice since yesterday, and I always like their DJ sets. If you're not familiar with Rufus Del Sol, they're electronic band. I think there's 3 members, and then they also do DJ sets. I first heard them play a DJ set, I think also from Space Live, maybe a year and a half ago, and this one I believe was a Mixmag live show, but been hammering that set as of yesterday. And then Eli and Fur live from the not Mix Mag, DJ Mag headquarters. I probably listened to that 10 times, It's some of their new music, some of their remixes. They're clearly getting ready to launch a new album, and I think they're doing more of like a down-tempo monthly mix series for SiriusXM, and I could be screwing up who that's for, but I'm pretty sure it's for SiriusXM. Anyway, Eli and Fur continue to be one of my favorite producing and DJ duos. For me, they're like the perfect blend of melodic tech house. So I can listen to them to work. I can listen to them to kind of get pumped up. I really dig them. All right, switching over from music to the golf project. So we've got a huge update for you. Huge. We've been working in the shadows. We're not yet ready to share, but we've been working in the shadows on some samples for the golf brand that we want to launch. It will be underneath Dailey Blend. So Dailey Blend kind of being the holding company. We've got a working name, but we're going to hold tight on releasing that out to the public. But we've got our first little bit of swag for that coming in. Our merchandise, I guess, is the more appropriate way to say it. We did a sample on a, a yardage books. Couldn't think of that. And we're pretty excited by it. I love doing these sample projects because you get to sort of create something, have an idea, and then you get to iterate. So there's a few things that maybe I would tweak in terms of look and feel. This one had more of like a printing, and I might want to go with an embossing or try an embossing with coloring or raised. So we're going to look into a couple different options. But for the first pass, I'm thrilled. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of those images with you guys. So don't forget to check out Sheridan Golf on IG. And I just got a message from our manufacturer over seas. And so the first round of sample hats are coming in. So we've got two different hats, one that's going to have a PVC like rubber patch on the front, and the other one's going to have some stitching. So I saw the samples in terms of the patch and then the stitching. Both looked fantastic. Looking forward to getting those. I think once they're ready and done, it takes like 10 days to get shipped over here, and then we'll be able to put in the first order and send those out to friends and family for feedback. So looking forward to getting samples in the doors and then back out to kind of all the folks that have been listening and kind of hitting me up on DMs about what is the golf project, what it's going to become. Not ready yet to share the name publicly, like I mentioned, but it's coming, so fear not. In terms of what's going on with golf here in Chicago, we've got the Live Golf event coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going on Friday with a corporate box that I'm hosting, but on Saturday I'm taking my daughter as long as she gives me the thumbs up dad. And I'm really excited for her to check this out. I've been taking her to play golf for a long time, and she's starting to like it. I don't know if she really understands what seeing golf is. She keeps on asking me if we get to play with the pros. I don't think she gets that, but I think she'll like the fact that there's music playing and that there's like team swag, so you get to pick your team, which will be kind of cool for a little kid to see. I'm just fired up to go check it out, both on Friday and I think likely on Saturday. In terms of the Rachel J Sound Off podcast, if you're listening to this a lot, I've been saying it's going to come out, and then every time I start recording, something happens. I've had some issues lately with my audio equipment. The only challenge, and this is like a stupid technical thing, I bought the Zoom recorder. That's a 4-track recorder. I bought the Shure SM7DB, which is like their top-end podcast miking. And honestly, I'm thinking about like getting rid of all of this and just going to the cheaper USB with XLR option that goes right into your computer that I'm guessing will have less issues. Now, my question for that mic is, can I use it with an iPad Pro? Or an iPad Air, because I'm thinking about getting an iPad Air, and if I can, that is like the perfect road setup for me, because I always have time in the mornings or time in the middle of the day, actually. There's like a dead period between, your end of lunch, post-lunch coffee, and then like happy hour, where I have 2 or 3 hours, and I've caught up on email, and I'm like, okay, I could have used this time to catch up on content creation. So thinking about maybe exploring that. I've got to, figure out if it's worth it, if it works with an iPad. But anyway, I finally got figured out what the issue was. I got a second, not SIM card, but memory card, reformatted it. So I'm rocking and rolling. So we'll be able to put out the Rachel J podcast. And Rachel, if you're listening to this, my apologies. I am the issue for the delay. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Oh yeah, Friday Top 5. So Friday Top 5 is our Friday newsletter. It comes out every Friday. The last one we had Venture Declassified with my good buddy Mike Kelly and his squad, talking about figuring out how what it's like to propose on a venture studio. So trying to go get funding for your venture business or venture-backed business. And I enjoy listening to it. A couple takeaways for me from that. The last episode of theirs was they were talking about how, most businesses kind of fall into three categories, and these were theirs, but I thought it was really interesting. It's what was it? The air you need to breathe, what was it? The air, and then the entertainment. I'm blanking on it. I'll come back. But it's been a great podcast to listen to. The second thing was understanding SEO. So I'm starting to want to pay a little more attention to SEO. And then, not business oriented, but I loved the 2-part documentary between Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. I thought the first episode, which was Taylor's side, was pretty interesting, and then I tuned in to the second one with Scooter Braun, and it was fantastic. We did a little more spotlight on Sunday Swag and highlighted the Dailey Blend golf project survey. So, don't forget to tune in to that newsletter, and you'll get all the goodness in your inbox every Friday. All right. That wraps it up for this week's episode of the Weekly Rundown. Once again, I will be in Boston this week. Or if you're in market, let me know. And don't forget to follow, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on X and IG. Don't forget to check me out on LinkedIn and Instagram at Reed Dailey. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next episode.